Essjay and welcome to BBB, Beauty Business Builder. I created these videos to help people in the beauty industry develop and expand their beauty business and to create more revenue. So if you want to take your beauty business to the next level, then keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and you also can catch me on my podcast, which is BBB, Beauty Business Builder. Enjoy. Hi there, this is Essjay and welcome to BBB, the Beauty Business Builder. I'm very excited today to have a special guest. I have spoke a little bit about this guy in my previous podcasts, but today he is here to answer some questions for us. So we are still probably week 10 in lockdown. It's obviously we're all kind of embracing, or we should be embracing, the digital side of our business. This is a way we can start implementing things to push our beauty business to the next level, our hair and beauty industry. So I thought it was a perfect time to get Rick here today, and he can talk a little bit about automation. So before I introduce to Rick, Rick O'Neill is a digital consultant with over 20 years experience in the digital marketing sector. He is the founder and partner of Aesthetics Entrepreneurs, which is where me and Rick first met. And he is the founder and owner of LTF, which is Look, Touch, Feel, which is an award-winning digital agency. So, Rick, was that everything?
Pretty much, although I wasn't the founder of Aesthetic Entrepreneurs, that was Richard. So I'm a founding partner. Let's call it that. Yeah. I'm his Bezzy mate for digital stuff.
Awesome.
Put it that way. But thanks for having me.
Yes, you are very welcome. I'm so excited to get into your head, basically.
Good luck.
So when I say we met through Aesthetic Entrepreneurs, obviously the Aesthetic Entrepreneurs is a business kind of development program for people in the aesthetic business. And obviously you man up the digital side. So tell us a little bit about your role in what you do.
Yeah, so as you said, I've been doing digital stuff for 20 plus years, built and grown a couple of businesses, one of which is still going, which you mentioned, LTF. That's a digital marketing agency based down at Silverstone Race Track. Wow. And been going 11 years, twice named Digital Agency of the Year, which is pretty cool. Okay. And for about 10 years out of the 20 that I've been working, I've worked with, as one of the niches we serve, cosmetic surgeons, aesthetic practitioners, people in beauty, cosmetics, that kind of thing, that are running practices of some kind, private practice. And as part of that, we've always served them with digital campaigns, web development, more recently automation, which we're going to chat about, and social media marketing as well. And it was a couple of years ago that I met with Richard, funnily enough, completely out of the aesthetic sector, because he was dabbling in cryptocurrency and blockchain. Oh, wow. And he had a platform built on the blockchain, which was to serve the aesthetic sector. So I met him at a blockchain conference. But when we met there, we realized we had this real crossover of the interest in digital and the interest in aesthetics. So I helped him out with his blockchain project. And then when he came later to start Aesthetic Entrepreneurs, obviously he had in the back of his mind that he'd met this guy who had this crossover experience of digital and aesthetics, which is pretty rare, to be honest. That to have that crossover is pretty rare. Yeah, definitely. And he invited me to come and get involved, because he'd already done an amazing job of bringing together this community of practitioners. He'd already been doing amazing things with the consulting and the program development. Yeah. But there was this desire, I think, to build a team around him. Yeah, and there's this kind of digital gap, if you like, to have the real hands-on experience. So we agreed that I'd create a cozy corner in the Aesthetic Entrepreneurs just for digital stuff. So yeah, and in there, as you've seen, I've been doing lives. I've been putting together training courses. Now and again, I'll do more of a formal kind of webinar presentation on different topics. And that's how we came to meet, because the automation stuff piqued your interest, and you have absolutely run with it, and you've smashed it.
Thank you. I think what it was is, when I was already dabbling in the digital side, probably about 18 months ago anyway, but obviously, we get into this job because we love doing what we do, and then we fail to forget that we've then got everything else. We've got branding, marketing, web design, and everything that's almost forced on you as a business, and you don't sign up for that. So when you try and do it all, it takes you twice as long. You don't know where to look. You make loads of mistakes. You make loads of financial mistakes as well. So you joined, you kind of came on board with Aesthetic Entrepreneurs at the perfect time. I think I was only a member for a few months before you kind of showed your presence, which completely just channeled me in the right direction, which is perfect. But I think it's interesting that you say, like Richard, who is the founder of Aesthetic Entrepreneurs, he realized that he has got everything in place to help build a business, but the digital side is not his forte. So he has outsourced to get people in to help with that side, which works well, all combined.
Yeah.
So going on to like automation. So people that don't know, what is automation? What is it?
Good question. And where it all comes from and why we need it is exactly what you were saying. You don't sign up for half of the stuff that comes with getting a business in any sector, particularly this one, because you know what you're good at and you really enjoy that, and you can create great outcomes for your patients, your customers, your clients, whatever you want to call them. But all this other stuff is a lot. Having the website, making sure people can find you on Google, keeping in constant contact with them, creating and publishing content on social media, and it goes on. And so where automation comes in, and what automation is using web-based technology to create workflows that happen without you having to touch them. That's what automation is. Everything you do when you first start a business, you're doing it manually. Yeah. So you're doing it with a mobile, with a laptop, with a pen and paper, or a spreadsheet, or whatever. But every time you get a new customer, you have to manually document who they are. You have to go back and forth to book in a time that works. You have to reach out to them and work out how to take their money. Yeah. You have to manually remember to remind them about their different appointments.
Yeah.
You have to remember to follow up to make sure they keep coming back, to notify them about different offers. You've also, at the same time as all of that, you've got to be
earning your money,
doing your treatments. You've got to also be working, well, you should be working on your website, your search presence, all of that kind of stuff. So automation, the idea is to take out as much as should be taken out of all of that manual effort. Some stuff should always be human and ad hoc and personal.
So like when somebody, so people that are watching or listening to this that are maybe in the hair and beauty sector, they won't have to go into as much depth with consultations than what I would. But pretty much after you have done a consultation, you can create everything after that in terms of rebooking, aftercare, all of that can pretty much be done. Is that right? So once they've left the clinic, if you've put their email down in the right place, it all should be done. Well, even earlier from booking, when they actually book the appointment, it can go from their appointment being booked.
Yeah, 100%. So regardless of whether it's a spa, a salon, a clinic, or a medi-spa, whatever it is, or, almost any type of business, you've got these different trigger points where you can kick off these automated workflows. So, one of them might be that they just sign up to be on your mailing list from the website. That can be a trigger. So it can start way back in the process before they even show themselves to you or make a booking. Then when they're interested in actually going ahead with the booking, there's another trigger point, because it's another point where they're sharing their details with you.
Yeah.
And like you say, after they've completed their first treatment, there's another trigger point, because it might be that in your clinic, your spa, your salon, you've got an iPad or a computer there. it's another opportunity to add them to a relevant list because they've done something or haven't done something or had a particular type of treatment or experience with you. You can use all of those trigger points to get them on these automated journeys. And some of it's about taking money and reminding them and giving them important info, and some of it's more marketing based. So once they've had a treatment, for example, there's a few things that you can automatically make sure are happening. One of them is get them to leave you a nice review.
See, that's what I found was it was quite a lengthy process. Before I did your Ultimate course, I used to maybe every month or so sit back and think, right, who came in for an appointment? And I'd spend normally at night time from 7 o'clock when the kids are in bed, I'll sit there on my phone till 11 o'clock and I'd copy and paste back and I'd go in my diary, like, right, okay, yeah, Sheila, and I'll send all them to them, leave me a review. And that would take me 4 hours every few months. I now do nothing, absolutely nothing, because like you said, you can create that journey as soon as they've had their consult or their first appointment, you're sending it out for a Google review. You're in the front of their mind then, they then leave you a good review and they're already then in that journey process.
That's it. And the thing is, when you're doing it manually, doing it the hard way, you just get used to it and you think that's how it is.
Normal, yeah.
And you talking about it now, you're probably thinking, oh my God, why did I do it that way for so long?
It's ridiculous. And the thing is, what's really crazy now is I know we're in like lockdown and I can't work hands-on, let's say, but doing all this has enabled me, because before lockdown, I was preparing to do podcasts, doing YouTube videos, editing video. I was releasing all this time to do these kind of jobs that I've always wanted to do, but because I've not had the time, because I work 12, 14, 15 hours a day messaging and doing all that, you don't have the time. I think from I think a lot of business owners, I think this is the problem that I found is feeling like you can trust somebody or something else, like obviously the digital platforms, to do it for you, because normally people in business want to do it themselves.
Yep.
And that's what I've always done it myself for 18, 19 years. Nobody will do it for me. I will do everything myself. I will be my web designer. I'll do everything. And it gets to a point where you think there's people that are more highly qualified in that niche than what I am. But it's actually having that trust, I think, from my point of view.
That is correct. And I've built a couple of businesses. We're not talking major corporations, but I've had 30, 40 people working for me. And it's that trust thing is the biggest sort of blocker to scaling, because you've got to start letting go. When you've got that much going on, you can't control all of it. And in the end, once you get through that kind of trust barrier, if you like, or that glass ceiling, it's such a relief to be able to see these things happening, and you just keep a check on it, whether it's a person doing it that you've hired or whether it's one of these automated workflows that's happening. Once you've seen a few times that it does what it's supposed to do, and it's taken that away from you and it's saved you those hours in the evening that you were talking about, copy and pasting, it's such a relief. It's freedom. And then you can do the things that you mentioned, like working on the business.
Yeah, exactly. I'll sit at night time. I don't often sit, but I'll go to, I did used to go to automated, but I'm like, I don't have to do anything. They've got their aftercare. So nobody now, because obviously everyone's on a journey now with me, I don't get any questions on what is this normal? My skin's doing this. I'm due about now, because it's all automated. And I'm not going to lie, this leads me on to my next question with you, but it was hard work setting it up. And Rick does an automate program, which I purchased from you, which was fantastic. But then I got to a stage where I was like, you need to finish it for me now. So is it something you can do yourself? Because I know a lot of people that will probably be listening and watching will be thinking, I don't want to pay somebody to do it. I want to have my full reins. Can it be done yourself?
Yeah, it can. But like you said, there's levels to it. And what you did very quickly was find even different ways of using it to suit your personal situation,
Yeah.
your business situation. And so there were some bits where you knew in your mind what you wanted it to do, but you didn't know how to do it, or it was tripping over. So you can do it yourself. And that's why the course was created for people that want to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've kind of since realized, I guess, that probably more people would rather outsource the setting up.
Yeah.
And so we've also created a kind of done for you version, because although you can do it in a few days, if you had all day, every day for a few days, you can get it all set up.
Yeah.
But there are bits where it is, well, it's not massively technical, but if you've never done anything like it before,
It's tough.
there are a couple of trip ups.
Yeah. See, I must admit, I think, how much is the course that I know I pay, what was it, for the Automate course?
The Automate's £99.
Okay. So £100, I got that and I started, but looking back now, I probably wouldn't have even done that. However, at the time, because I've not purchased anything from you and I've not had you do anything for me before, it was almost like, let me just have a dabble to see the capabilities of this first before I'm ready to then spend my hard-earned cash with you. But looking back now, that took me days to do. And if I think about what I can earn in clinic for days, it would have been far cheaper for me just to say from the get-go, just to say, Rick, how much are you going to cost for you to automate my diary, my mailing, my payments, my everything? And I probably would have handed reins over in the beginning, looking back now.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because when you actually ask people, like in the group, the first time we went out and asked, they said if there was a step-by-step thing I could follow, I don't have a lot of money, I would do it myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have followed the course, but I think they would all probably agree with you. Looking back, actually, I'd rather just outsource the setting up.
Yeah, but I also think it's almost like I was saying before about that control. When you're in business and when you build a business, you want to have as much control as possible. So if you say to me, you know what, I can do it, the whole thing for 600 quid, or you can buy it and you can follow the step by step for 100, it'll take you longer, but you're in control. All business owners would go for that, because until they get to know you as well, and know what you're capable of and how good you work, I think it's letting go of that control. But looking back now, I would have just done it, said, no, Rick, go for it, get it done.
Yeah. I think it's different levels of experience and different types of personality as well as business owners, because some will just outsource absolutely everything as often as they can.
Yeah.
And some things will work, some won't, but they're just sort of ploughing on. And then others, just like you say, they want to control it as much as they can. But in doing that, they kind of burden themselves with all that time and frustration.
Definitely. And that's why people then give up and then just think, you know what, I'm a hairdresser, I'm just going to do my hair every day. I don't need any of that, because it just takes too much time. So,
yeah. And that's the difference between the ones that scale and ones that don't, really, bluntly.
Yeah. And don't you think that, especially with these times that we're in right now, we have to evolve? We have to evolve our business and do things like this, because, this could happen again next year. We need to be able to know that we have systems in place to maybe sell skincare packs online, to give advice in their aftercare. We need to have these systems, because we're in times at the moment where we don't know what's happening.
There's no normal to go back to. There's only before and after.
Exactly.
And the after is very different.
Yes, definitely.
And it's gonna, like you say, there'll be other peaks and troughs. There'll be other probably virus mutations at some point. But yeah, not being a pessimist, but you just got to be prepared for these things. And this has been a lesson, and you can either learn from that lesson or try and ignore it.
Or try and
I think there will be. Yeah, there's two types of people at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
Head in the sand, and it will all be fine, and everything will go back to how it was. Wrong.
Yeah.
Or there's the other type, of which you very much fit in the box. Of, no, I'm cracking on. I'm pivoting. I'm digitally transforming my business.
Yeah.
And this is the new normal.
We've got the time to do it now. We've actually got the time to implement all this. So, get invested in this side, it's essential. Another thing that I wanted to ask as well, because when you do like automation, you can automate responses from inquiries, so like Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, you can automate replies. A lot of people may think that might be quite insensitive or impersonal. You know, how do you work with that? How can that be overcome?
Yeah, I think you've got to be a bit careful about what is automated and what isn't, especially when it comes to the messengers or the chatbots. So you can automate basic answers. So when are you open? Where are you based? What treatments do you offer? How much is such and such a treatment? But it should be set up so that when someone starts interacting with it, you get a little notification and you can watch what's happening and cut in at any time. That's what you want. And you can do that with Messenger. Facebook themselves give you some settings for that.
Yeah.
But if you want to take it to a next level and have kind of different ways that a conversation can go, then the best tool for that is called ManyChat, and that plugs into your Facebook page.
Yeah.
It's very good. And it can also sit on your website, which I think nowadays most people should have instead of the old traditional contact form.
Oh, okay. It's interesting.
If you think about it,
giving more things to think of.
I know. There's more to do, SJ. Come on. Never stop pushing.
Never stop.
I have this personal... I've been building websites since 1995, right? Which was the year after the World Wide Web was created, for anybody that cares. So I might be one of the oldest living web designers. You never know. However, I hire young people with better ideas than me.
Yeah.
But I have this view at the moment that the contact page on a website, traditional contact page, is obsolete, is out of date. Because if you think about it, if you think of it as a real world shop that you were walking into, there'd be nobody, no members of staff. And when you needed help, you go up to the counter and there's just a black box with a hole in it and you put your question in it and then you have to wait.
Yeah.
That's a contact page on a website. Yeah. That's what happens. Whereas if it's a chat feature, then there's a member of staff there to help you. Even if it's initially automated, you're getting some acknowledgement and some feedback.
Yeah.
So I think eventually we should all be trying to replace contact forms with chatbots.
Yeah. Okay, I might message you about that one. I need to get that sorted. That's another job. That's another job.
I mean, it depends when this goes out, but at the moment, you've all got maybe 30 to 40 days between now and when you might be allowed to open, because you fall under what the government calls personal care.
Yeah.
Which is step 3, and at the earliest, July 4th. Right?
Yes, at the earliest. I'm not hopeful for that. I think it's going to be longer. If I'm honest, I think we're going to have a second wave of it, but that's a different story.
Is that because everyone went to the beach at the weekend?
Yeah, pretty much. A bunch of dickheads.
They're relying on the common sense of the British people.
Oh, no, we ain't got it. This pandemic has made me realise how stupid some people are.
You can't fix stupid.
Oh, God, I could pick more. Oh, dear. So, okay, if somebody that was listening was going to go down a bit of automation, do they need a website? Because you get a lot of people new to the business. They want to obviously prioritize their spends. Is there some things you can do without a website? Because that's a big investment, the website. So
it can be, yeah. There's a lot you can do without a website for sure. Okay. It didn't used to be the case, but it is now, because now you have this whole additional channel of social media or live media, let's call it. But
yeah.
So from your social media presence, you can drive people into your business, but it doesn't have to be onto your website. It could be directly onto a Calendly booking system. So Calendly is the system that you've been using.
I spoke about that in one of my previous podcasts about that. I believe Calendly, you can have your own hosting page. It gives you a hosting page, so you don't have to have a website for that. So that's what I would recommend.
So you can drive people straight to that, and on that page can have all your different treatment types or things that you can book. So that doesn't require a website. If you do have a website, it integrates very nicely inside the website. You can also, even if you don't use Calendly, Facebook themselves offer a booking feature. for taking appointments, which works for some people.
Yeah.
It has some functionality about reminders, etc. And very recently, in fact, it's not even out yet in the UK, but it is in America, Facebook are offering shops, Facebook shops.
I noticed that, yeah, a couple of yesterday or the day before there was a...
Yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, came on a Facebook Live, obviously, and announced Facebook shops. And it was kind of partly in response to what we're going through now, but I think they've been working on it anyway.
Yeah.
And it will be a completely seamless experience inside someone's Facebook business page where you can see a product, read the description of it, see the price, push a button, pay for it without leaving Facebook at all. And the amazing part of it is you will have the ability to tag your products that you sell in your live videos.
Fabulous.
So when you're doing a Facebook Live, once this is all set up, when you mention a product that you're selling, hair product, skincare product, beauty product, it can be tagged in the live, so they can push the button for the product whilst they're watching the live and buy it without leaving the live.
Wow. Okay. Fabulous.
This is completely frictionless commerce.
Yeah. So you don't need, you don't need a website. So a lot of people think, oh, I've got all this automation, all these online bookings. It's just too much because for me to do that, I've got to have a website. I've got to have this. But you can create, you can create a good database and use, Campaign Monitor, MailChimp, whatever, and you've got your online booking system. So you've got two things there that you can, you can run with, connected with Facebook, which we all have.
You can get going without the need for a website to begin with. Where the website comes in is when you want to start to grow outside your own network. Because when everybody starts a business, and for the first few years, you get by on your initial 2 or 3 degree network, right? So friends, family, friends of friends. And word of mouth gets you to a level.
Yeah.
For some people, that lasts a lifetime and it's sufficient for the lifestyle and the income they want. For other people who want to go further, where the growth comes from is becoming kind of internet famous rather than social media famous. And internet famous means you have a really, really smart website. It's optimized on Google so that when people who've never heard of you type in permanent makeup and where you live, you're there. And you are there not just with your website, but with your Google profile, in the images and YouTube videos. You've got this presence that's outside of social media and it's on Google. That's where the sort of next level of growth comes from. That's where the website comes in. The other necessary reason for a website is, even if you're not looking for growth, when people hear about you through word of mouth, there's 2 possible places they're going to go to check you out. One is Google, one is social media. So social media, you'll probably be fine. Google, you might not be, because you may not have any presence at all. So
it's a case of building it up, isn't it? It's a case of prioritizing. So what would you say, if anybody's watching this that literally has, I know we're talking mainly about automation, but if somebody's watching this that hasn't got anything digital sorted, they literally just run a little hair salon or a nail salon, they have them clients kicking in, like you say, friends, family and add-ons, or somebody that just wants to take their business to the next level, what would you say would be the first recommendation you would do to help with that in terms of automation? What would you say would be your first recommendation?
Facebook business page, Instagram business account, Calendly booking connected to Stripe. Do that first.
Stripe being online payment,
Right, so Stripe is a very nice, flexible, mobile-friendly credit card payment processor. And it has a really neat plugin for Calendly, the booking system. So if you had nothing and you were starting from scratch, I would get going with a Facebook business page, share it with everyone you know and you've ever treated or had in your salon. Do the same with your Instagram. Start publishing some kind of content, and that's a whole nother topic of what you publish in terms of content. But on top of that, have the ability for them to automatically book with you without you needing to go back and forth and do it by text, etc.
And I think that's what happens as well. You get a lot of people that get lost in translations, or lost in the transaction. So they'll message you, can you do this appointment then? Before you have time to message them back, they might have already, something else might have spiked their interest on Facebook that they saw, nail salon around the corner, and then you've lost them. I don't think people realise that having these quick booking methods actually will generate them more money. You know, like my hairdressers are a nightmare because they only have a phone, they have no website, they have no Facebook page, they have nothing. So I've got to ring between the hours of 9 and 4 to get an appointment.
Are you sure they're a hairdresser and not a GP surgery?
Yeah. So it's a nightmare. So half the time when I realise that I need to make an appointment, it's gone hours, so I can't ring. And they would have had so much more bookings from me. I'm not going to go anywhere else. But rather than me waiting 5 weeks, which is what I want, I end up waiting 10 weeks because I've not managed to ring them or book in when I can. So people don't understand that they are losing money by not having the streamless booking system. So that's where obviously it's come from. Right, that's where we need to start.
You're right, but and that's not going to get any easier because people's expectations are only getting higher in terms of the digital experience.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, everything they've been doing is digital, online, virtual, Zoom. Everyone's in the Zoom world now. Everyone's doing everything mobile, digital, WhatsApp. Their expectation of how quick you can respond, what the process is going to be like, how slick it's going to be, is only getting higher.
Yeah.
So if you are, absolutely insistent that you're going to remain old school, you only pick up the phone between 9 and 3, you're going to die eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just how it is. It's like when that big meteor hit the planet all them years ago. Things changed. It's going to be like that again.
Yeah.
And the dinosaurs will become extinct. So
yeah.
it is.
Will rule, yeah. Awesome. Well, okay. So thank you so much. I've got a couple of questions. They're not too personal. They are still relatively business related, but a little bit beauty related as well. Okay. So if you didn't do what you do now,
yes,
when you was little, what did you want to be? What did you want to be?
I wanted to be a car designer.
A car designer?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually did my degree at Southampton was in product design because I wanted to be a car designer and ultimately, luxury supercars. That's what I wanted to do.
And your business is near Silverstone, right?
Yeah, funny that.
You're almost there.
Yeah, close.
As close as you get in.
Yeah, it's too late now.
Yeah. Okay, so what? Everyone's got one. What is your essential beauty or hair product or item that you can't live without?
Clippers.
You know what? I've almost clipped my hair. My hair is ridiculous in this lockdown. It's never been so long. And I said to my husband, I'm going to shave it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go for it. And he says he'll divorce me. So, yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, a bit harsh. I thought that. Right. Have you got any pet peeves? What really annoys you?
Oh, man. How long have you got?
Just one. Your top one. I've got one.
I mean, there was one. It's not 100% relevant to this chat, but it does wind me up. So in our agency, sometimes we work with quite big companies, and they are still insisting, or a lot of them try, to set you up on 90-day payment terms.
Okay.
And this is something that I find disgraceful because you're talking about companies that turn over tens of millions of pounds, hundreds of millions in some cases, and in a few cases, billions.
Yeah.
And they are forcing a tiny company to live on 3-month payment terms.
Yeah.
Or it's actually sometimes 90 days from the end of the month. So it's more like 110 days.
Yeah. Do you know what gets me with that as well is companies where you can cancel, but you have to cancel the week before that year.
Oh, yeah.
So then if you've rang a year and 1 day, so you've got to wait another 364 days. No, sorry, you can't cancel. It's like, it's just 1 day. So, yeah. It's disgusting, isn't
There's a particular chain of gyms that are very good at that.
Oh, is there? I don't go to a gym, so I don't know. I don't like exchanging money for exercise when I can do it at home.
Well, we've all learned that, haven't we?
We've all learned. We've all learned.
I've never paid for a gym, but I've always paid for a PT because I know myself and I have to be shouted at to get it done. And I'm even doing it now. I have a tripod in the garden with my mobile on and my AirPods in, and my PT's on WhatsApp, giving it beans and beasting me from his garage.
I don't need that. I'm all right. My mum and dad both used to be bodybuilders.
Oh wow!
So I'm from a very, especially my dad. When I did that press up challenge, he messaged me and says I could do 59 when I was your age in 60 seconds. I'm like, Dad, I'm a woman. I'm a tiny little woman. I've done 55. That's good. So it's always competitive in our family. So we always have that inner push anyway. Just being from fitness gurus, like my parents.
I love that. I just know that I can't. Well, it's not that I can't. I have, but to do it consistently, I need someone there to push me to failure.
Yeah.
To really, really, when you're sort of verging on reaching because you're pushing it that hard.
Yeah, you're about to.
I can't get there on my own. I have to be pushed there. My wife.
Then that's the level you want to be at, isn't it?
Yeah, my wife is different. She's a cyclist, and at the moment she's doing a lot on the Watt bike, on Zwift. Don't know if you've come across that.
I haven't heard of it now.
So people that are really into cycling. So you got Peloton, which is sort of like fun spin class styly.
Yeah.
And then you've got Watt bike and Zwift, which is for the more serious kind of technical weight, watts per kilo type people. She's racing on that in the British Cycling Time Trial Series.
Wow.
And every couple of days, when we're in the garden or I'm in my office, she's on there doing a race. And when it's got to the sprint stage, because you hear what sounds like she's being murdered or I'm performing incredibly well at something or she's vomiting. So when she's in that last sort of 1,000 meters, like, come on, like screaming out the window. And everyone in our village can hear it. And she's had to go and apologize to people.
Yeah.
Or they've come out and shaken my hand.
Well done, Rick. Well done. Oh, dear. Right. So what do you love to do when you're not working? Is that training then?
I do love, I sort of got a love-hate relationship with the training because I've struggled. So I do Taekwondo as my main sort of pastime outside of work. And a year and a half ago, I reached black belt, which for me was a massive deal. It took me 8 years to get there. I started far too late in life. It's hard when you're in your 40s to be doing the splits, right? And kicking people in the head is hard.
I did it when I was young. So I was, I think I was like 11 or 12 when I started, Taekwondo. So, and I used to dance as well. So, I still dance. So I was more flexible. So that bit I did whiz through. My brother struggled a bit more, but I did whiz through quite easily with that.
So I'm definitely not flexible. Yeah. I mean, I've got better, but when I'm not working, I'm into the Taekwondo. The love-hate bit that I mentioned is because I still now sometimes struggle with the fact that the motivation and the energy and the feel good comes at the end of it, not at the beginning. So it's learning the difference between discipline and motivation.
Yeah.
Because it's the discipline that forces you to go to training on a rainy Tuesday night when you can't be bothered.
But I always think to myself, you never regret a workout.
No.
Never regret, I always do. I go rollerblading now because my hips can't handle jogging too much. So I wake up at 6 every morning and go for a rollerblade. Like, who does that? I could stay in bed till 7. And every morning, I'm like, oh, God, really? But then I think of how good I feel when I get back.
Yeah.
It just sets me up for the day. And I've spoken about this on my podcast about mindset and what gets you going in the morning. And that really gets me going in the morning. So then when I then start working, I'm on it. Yeah. So we never regret a workout, but it is that moment of, do I really want to do it today?
Oh, yeah. I've also found that I need big goals or big challenges as well. So that for a long time, it was the black belt. And if I'm really honest, since then, I've lost my way a couple of times with the Taekwondo because it's like you get to this major milestone of achieving your black belt. And there's loads more. There's second degree, third, fourth, up to ninth degree you can go. And I'm working towards my second degree, but it's hard.
Yeah.
But I also
you need an end goal.
Well, initially I reluctantly also agreed to do cycling with my missus. And last July I cycled 300 miles from Daventry to Paris.
Wow.
In 3 days. And the first day was 120 miles on the hottest day of the year, 41 degrees. So that was good. And so I've signed up to do it again.
Oh, great stuff. That's
Yay. So next July, I'm doing the same thing again. I have no idea why I've agreed to that. But I think subconsciously there's a version of me inside that signs me up for these things because that's what I need.
Yeah. Somebody wants to do it in your head.
It's going to keep me training. It's going to keep me honest.
Yeah, it's all good. So back to business then. So if there's one piece of advice you could give somebody who's either new to business, who's losing the way in business, from your expertise, what would that one piece of advice be?
So I think if you're losing your way, it's possibly the same as if you're new, because it's about sitting down and remembering why you're doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
And everyone's got a slightly different why, right? It's the same with the training. Some people do it for the social element. Some people do it because they want to lose weight or get toned, or it's just fun or whatever. Same in business. Everyone has a slightly different reason. Why are you actually doing it?
Yeah.
So it might be to live the life on your terms. You don't want to work for someone. Or it might be to get to a point of financial freedom, or it might be because you just really enjoy the challenge of setting goals and beating them, whatever. You got to, if you've lost your way, go back to the why are you doing it? And then once you've got that, work out what's the next milestone. Because like I was talking about with the big bike ride or the black belt, I'm the same in business. I keep having to put these big milestones in.
Yeah.
Once you've got one of those, that's your dream.
Yeah.
But that can become a goal, and a goal can become a plan, and a plan can be broken down into actions.
Yeah.
And each action can be broken down into tiny tasks. So then you just do the first task. That's it. And then you've taken the first step all the way up that tree to the big goal.
Yeah. Because I think that's the danger with a lot of people, especially in the personal care industry. You end up plodding. Yeah. Your clients come in, you do what you do, they go. You do what you do, they go. And you just like a robot. You're just automatic. You forget why you're doing it. Yeah. And then you realize that, wait a minute, I'm working more hours than any of my friends in different types of businesses because I have to work night times, I have to work weekends. And I've lost my way. I don't know my why anymore. Why am I actually doing this? So I think it is to take it right back, find your why, and then go from there.
That's it.
Awesome.
Like hitting the reset button.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to connect with Rick O'Neill on any of his automation course or what he can do to help in your business, then all his details are going to be on this video or on this podcast. So you can click there, or you can message me directly, and I can connect you if for advice and a plan, basically. But yes, awesome. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thanks for having me, and I just want to say you are smashing it.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure working with you.
Yeah, no, it has, and there's going to be more coming your way. So you know me already. Never stopping. There's going to be more work from me. You're going to get definitely, and hopefully, if you are willing to come back again to maybe talk about a different topic. I know you helped me a lot with the Google Juice program, the SEO. Getting yourself known on Google. If you want to come back and talk a little bit about that, then I'm sure the listeners would like to hear that as well.
Yeah, be happy to.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rick.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching. If you feel that you have got great benefit from this and you would like to work with me on a one-to-one or join one of my webinars, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can connect with me on Facebook and Instagram, and all my links should be below in the description. I look forward to speaking to you soon and taking your business to the next level. Bye for now.